Hello everyone, my name is Olivia, and today I wanted to share with you my movie and TV book and script collection. I have begun collecting scripts for my favorite movies and TV shows over the past couple of years, and I've found that reading these scripts has added so much context to the stories that I love and have strengthened my overall enjoyment of these stories. So I wanted to go through my entire collection with you because it has grown pretty big overall over the past couple of years, and I think it's really interesting. And I don't think I've ever seen a movie and script collection tour on YouTube that I found, so I think this would be an interesting thing to share with all of you. So let's go through all these scripts that I own because that's the largest part of my collection. And the first thing that I wanted to share with you is my Fleabag Scriptures. And this is the entire collection of both season 1 and 2 of one of my favorite shows of all time by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. There are so many moments that are deeply quotable from this show, and I think going through every single episode and rereading it would make you relive the show. And I'm just really happy I own the Fleabag Scriptures because it is a beautifully bound collection, and I wish a lot more shows and movies would do this because I think people will love to have their favorite scripts on their bookshelves. Another script that I am so happy to own that is a little bit beat up because it's very old is the Casablanca screenplay. I didn't even know that Casablanca had a bound screenplay, and I was ready to download the screenplay online and just print it out into a bound copy at Staples, which is what I do for other screenplays in my collection. But then my friend surprised me for my birthday with the Casablanca screenplay, and it is beautiful. It feels so unique. I feel like a lot of people don't own this, and Casablanca is one of my favorite movies of all time, so being able to own the script with beautiful photos from the movie as well is just like a dream come true. And like the Fleabag Scriptures, I haven't gone through the screenplay yet, but Casablanca has some of the most iconic quotes of all time. If you have never seen the movie before and you decide to sit down and watch it, you will realize that so many quotes in pop culture come from Casablanca, and being able to have the screenplay and read it and see those iconic lines in the script is just a dream come true, and it is the perfect collector's piece for me, a Casablanca fan. Another screenplay that I implore every single fan to get is the Get Out screenplay by Jordan Peele. This is not only the screenplay for the entire movie featuring different shots from the movie as well, but it also has deleted scenes and annotations from Jordan Peele. So in the script, you have footnote numbers, and then when you go to the back of the screenplay, you have annotations and insight from Jordan Peele that add so much more context and insight into the Get Out movie, and it made me appreciate this film on a completely different level because the amount of detail and care that Jordan Peele puts into every single scene in a movie that he creates is phenomenal. He is such a talented director. I just drank some tea and spilled it all over my shirt, but it's fine. Every single piece of dialogue in this film is purposeful and is able to be broken down on a level that is admirable, and being able to dive into Jordan Peele's mind and learn about his craft and the way that he structures a movie and the way that he can break it apart and really delve deep into the hidden meanings behind every single action that he put into this film is fantastic. Get Out wasn't my favorite movie by Jordan Peele. Us is my favorite movie by him, but after reading the screenplay, my appreciation for this film skyrocketed. I cannot recommend this enough. It is a beautifully bound screenplay that deserves more attention. The next screenplay that I got actually didn't hit as well as all the other screenplays that I have in this collection, and it is the Inside Llewyn Davis screenplay. The way that I find most of my screenplays is that I search up my favorite movies and just put the word screenplay after it in Google, and then I try and find the screenplay to own a copy of. So I did the same thing for Inside Llewyn Davis and randomly found this on Barnes & Noble, hidden deep into the depths of the movie category that they have. And when I found it, I was so excited because this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my favorite Oscar Isaac movie, I think, next to Ex Machina. And when I read this screenplay, it did not hit as well as the original movie did. Usually whenever I read a screenplay, especially one like the Get Out screenplay, my appreciation for the film just grows so much, and I feel a deeper connection to it than I would have if I just saw the movie itself. But when I read the Inside Llewyn Davis screenplay, I think it didn't hit as well as other screenplays that I've read, because this is large in part centered around music. And to read music and not hear the singing and not hear the tone of the person delivering the song, it just doesn't hit for me. I think if you're a musician, you would be able to appreciate it, because musicians' minds just work in a different way compared to mine, because I'm not musical at all. And I didn't feel an increased connection to the film. I do think the film itself is beautiful and stunning, and the music is some of my favorite that I've ever seen in a film. But reading the screenplay, I just didn't feel that extra connection that I get to a movie when I read the script. I think this is my least favorite script that I have in my entire collection. There was just something about it that I just could not connect to, and it's so weird because I love the movie so much, and to not have that shared connection while reading the script was interesting. The next screenplay that I have is the Inception Screenplay, another all-time favorite movie of mine, and I really do love this screenplay because it has some initial sketches of different shots. It also has some initial art from the film and just some extra details that I think is really interesting to include in a script. So it's not just a script, it's a little bit more, it adds a little bit more depth to the story. It also has an interview with Christopher Nolan at the beginning of the screenplay where he talks a little bit more about Inception and why he created this movie. And I do want to get the Oppenheimer screenplay because I do think that Christopher Nolan's screenplays are really engaging and really interesting. The next screenplay that I have was gifted to me by Focus Features, and I'm actually going to gift it to a friend who enjoyed the movie so much more than I did, and it is the Emma screenplay. Emma is an adaptation of Jane Austen's Emma, and I didn't enjoy the movie as much as everyone else did, but my friend Josie loves Emma, and then I remembered that I owned the screenplay for it, so I told her that I was going to gift her the screenplay because I think she'll appreciate it so much more. But I did want to show you the beautiful cover and then the beautiful back of the screenplay because it is a beautifully bound screenplay, and I don't think this is available to be bought, but it was just gifted to people who were taking part in promoting the movie, and being able to pass it on to a friend who appreciates that film so much more is something that I really want to do. So this will be going to my friend Josie, but I did want to show it before it was gifted off to my friend. The next screenplay is a screenplay that you can find online. You can find a ton of screenplays online as PDFs if you want to study screenplays and if you want to learn more about how to structure one and the detail that goes into it. So I found this movie screenplay online, downloaded it as a PDF, which you're able to do, and then I went onto staples.com, put the PDF into their printing process, and I bound the screenplay just to own physically because I like to annotate and highlight my favorite pieces of dialogue, and the screenplay is the Us Screenplay by Jordan Peele. So here's the thing, I didn't know if Jordan Peele was going to release a bound copy of the Us Screenplay like he did for Get Out, so I was eager to dive deeper into this script. So I decided to bound the PDF myself just so I can annotate and highlight and really delve deeper into the story because this story is so deeply complex. But then I found out maybe like 2 weeks ago that the Us Screenplay is going to be bound in the same way that the Get Out Screenplay is published, and it's going to be released in 2024. So I'm really excited to get myself an annotated screenplay of the Us movie because I'm very excited for that bound screenplay and his annotations and the deleted scenes, and to know that he's slowly but surely releasing every single screenplay of his movies is so exciting because he is a masterclass in writing horror, and the way that he looks at horror and the way that he structures his stories and the way that he has hidden details in each of his scenes is so fascinating. So I will keep this screenplay because I did annotate it and add my little notes to it, but I'm so excited when the official Us Screenplay is published, and I think it's going to be released in May 2024. The next screenplay that I have to show you is the first ever screenplay that I got that opened my world to collecting screenplays because I never knew that I was able to own the physical copy of the script for a movie because it always felt forbidden and it felt secretive. And then I found out that you can own so many different screenplays, and actually a lot of them are being published, and I hope a lot more of them are being published in the future. But that movie is The Dark Knight screenplay. So my brother got me this screenplay because The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have rewatched that movie so many times I think I've lost count, and I know nearly all the lines from that film because I've seen it so many times. And my brother knew that I'm a big Batman fan, so he got me this for Christmas, I believe. And it is one of my favorite screenplays of all time because, again, this is another movie with really iconic lines, with a story that I wanted to delve deeper into. And this is the first screenplay that I read and really enjoyed, and it made me realize that I love reading movie scripts. Every single screenplay feels deeply different, not only in its story, but in its structure. Because the next screenplay that I have to show you, which is the Little Women screenplay, has a level of depth that is not included in the movie, and reading the script made me appreciate the story even more than I did when I initially saw the film. So while The Dark Knight is very straightforward in its script, and it's just basically sharing the dialogue from the movie, it doesn't have a lot of context into the motivations for the characters. The Little Women screenplay has a whole level of intrigue and detail that you don't see in the film that was provided for the actors to help strengthen their character. Like, one piece of context that Greta Gerwig added to the script that I thought was so beautiful was Laurie dances with Beth, whirling her around and making her laugh. Jo watches adoringly, the two halves of her heart. Like, that's not included in the movie. That's only given to Saoirse to emote in the movie, but reading the screenplay, you get bits and details like this that makes you appreciate the characters so much more and adds so much more depth to the story that you didn't get in the movie. You may have gotten it through the actors' emotions and through the way that they portray their characters, but when you are going back through the screenplay and you're reading it, you get so much more detail, which you don't find in a lot of other screenplays that I've shown before. So if you want to check out the Little Women screenplay, I'll be sure to link it down below. The next screenplay that I have to show you was gifted to me by my friend Josie, who I'm giving the Emma screenplay to, and it is The Power of the Dog, which is that movie on Netflix that they're actually taking off. So this feels somewhat forbidden to have, and to have the screenplay for that mysterious movie that's being taken off of Netflix is really interesting. And I do think that the movie's being taken off of only the UK Netflix, but I don't know. Let me know if you know what they're going to do with The Power of the Dog on Netflix, because I would love to know if it's only being taken off in the UK or if it's being taken off of all of Netflix, because I think it's interesting to create a Netflix original film and for it to be nominated for Oscars and then they remove it. Interesting business move from Netflix, clearly. But I have not seen the movie, I have not read the script, but this is a beautifully bound screenplay, and I'm really happy that Josie passed this along to me because I'm in my Rootin' Tootin' era. I love cowboy media, which began from me watching gameplays of Red Dead Redemption 2, a production company that understands that we love screenplays and we want to own them is A24, and my best friend gifted me the screenplay for one of my favorite Oscar Isaac films, and it is Ex Machina. A24 knows what they're doing with screenplays. This is a beautiful screenplay, probably my most beautiful screenplay that I own. It is just a piece of art that can go on your coffee table or on your shelf to be displayed, and it is not only a screenplay, but it includes a couple of essays centered around the film, particularly the power of AI, and it also includes shots from the film as well. Like, can you believe? It is definitely a collector's piece compared to the Inside Llewyn Davis screenplay, but it is so beautiful, and I love that A24 puts so much care and detail into the screenplays that they publish, and they are slowly but surely expanding their collection, and I wish that they would do one for The Lighthouse, because The Lighthouse is one of my favorite A24 movies of all time, and to be able to own the Ex Machina screenplay in such a beautiful edition is an honor, because this movie is fascinating and it has such a minimalistic script, but when you dive deeper into it and when you read it, you can just break it down so much more and you can appreciate it so much more, especially when you read the essays breaking down the film and just the power of AI and how it's so dangerous. beautiful, stunning. I'm so happy I own this. So those are all the scripts that I own, and now let's get into the books that I have that are centered around movies and shows. So the first book that I own is centered around one of my favorite shows of all time is By the Order of the Peaky Blinders, the official tie-in to the hit Netflix series. So this says that it includes exclusive interviews with the creator and writer Stephen Knight, the cast, the production team, and a wealth of insider knowledge. I have not read this yet, but it is something that I do want to sit down and read, and it has so many essays about the show. It has beautiful shots from the show as well, and it's another coffee table type of book to own if you love Peaky Blinders the way that I love Peaky Blinders. And I really do love how they have my favorite photo of Tommy Shelby as the first photo in the entire collection. Like, we all agree that that's the best photo ever taken of Cillian Murphy as Tommy Shelby, and my friend Margaret kindly gifted this to me, so thank you so much to Margaret, because this is a beautiful book for one of my favorite shows of all time. So the next book that I own centered around movies is called Hollywood at Home, a family album from 1950 to 1965. This is literally a photo album of Hollywood stars in their homes, and my dad found this one day in a Goodwill, and I decided to get myself the book because I knew I would regret it if I didn't get it. And it's just a beautiful photo album showcasing the different stars of that time. It kind of peels back the curtains of the glamour that they all carry and showcases them in a very comfortable, safe setting. And it's just another coffee table type of book where people can flip through it, look at different photos. And it also really caught my eye because my favorite stars from old Hollywood are on the cover, Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart. So I knew I had to get this book because it is just a beautiful collection of beautiful photography of beautiful people from old Hollywood. The next book that I have centered around movies is the New York Times Guide to the Best 1,000 Movies Ever Made. It features comedies, documentaries, dramas, musicals, thrillers, top 10s lists, original reviews, and full cast and credits. So my brother and his girlfriend thrifted this for me for my birthday because they know I love a good movie, fun fact, and this just kind of feels like an encyclopedia for movies, and I'm really excited to flip through this because it is so robust and thick, and it just seems like the perfect type of book that you would need on your shelf as a cinephile. And the last book that I have centered around movies is The Films of Marlene Dietrich. My mom got this from her high school that she was working at before she retired, and they were getting rid of a ton of movie books, and she decided to get me this copy. And it was really interesting because it was like a couple of days after I was reading an article about Dietrich lighting, which is a particular type of harsh lighting that is used by Marlene to kind of highlight the angles of her face, and she coined this type of lighting that was used in old Hollywood to make things feel a little bit more harsh and dramatic. And after reading that article, my mom found this book for me, so it felt very connected. And I don't think I've seen an old Hollywood film featuring Dietrich yet, but it is something that I do want to do in the future. And then once I see a couple of movies of hers, I definitely do want to dive into this book to learn a little bit more about her. And I kind of wish that they had one for like Lauren Bacall and Hedy Lamarr. But those are all the books and scripts that I have centered around movies and TV shows. This collection has gotten so much bigger over the course of a couple of years because so many of my friends and family know that I'm slowly but surely collecting a lot of books centered around movies and TV shows, so they're also helping me grow this collection. And it is a wonderful collection featuring some of my favorite movies and TV shows. And let me know if you also collect screenplays and if you have a couple of favorites that you want to highlight in the comments. I would love to know about other people's collections because maybe there is a screenplay out there that you own that would interest me and I would want to get myself a copy. So if you want to follow me over on Letterboxd, Instagram, or TikTok, all those links will be down below. And let me know if there are any other movie or TV show videos that you would like to see from me in the future. I would love to take your video ideas into account. And if you've stayed this far in the video, leave a clapper emoji down below so we can see who stays for the longest. If you do, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day. I'll see you around very soon. Bye!